Alright, what is going on, guys? So it's been a while since I've made a video. I actually tried to make one about this particular topic a couple of days ago, but I've just been so busy. For those of you that don't know, I'm trying to join the Marine Corps. Not trying, I'm actually in the delayed entry program, the DEP. So I am in that. I was supposed to ship January 19th, which would technically be today. However, that wasn't a ship date that they gave me at MEPS. They kind of screwed up a little bit. And so my ship date ended up being March 4th. And since it was coming up, we had to go and run our official IST down at headquarters. Now, I don't know if every RSS does this or not, but it is something that, we had to do. So everybody that was shipping at the end of January, at the beginning or in February period, and then at the beginning of March, all went down to Atlanta headquarters. So that's just a little update about my ship date and all that kind of stuff. If you will, please excuse the mess. I'll explain why in a minute. So, pretty much how this went is they let us know kind of last minute. We had to go down there on Thursday. I get a call Tuesday going, or I think Monday. Oh, by the way, no, you got to go down there on Wednesday. I need you to be at the office at 6. I'm like, okay. Cool beans, whatever, let my job know, that kind of thing. And I told him, I was like, hey, got to be there at 6. So, showed up Wednesday. I'm going to give you guys pretty much a run-by-run of exactly what happened because I'm here for information. And that's pretty much it. I didn't really find any videos like this one. Explaining exactly how it was going to go. Now, don't get me wrong, I've seen videos of pool functions doing ISTs and things like that, but I haven't seen particularly, what was going to happen. And so that's why I'm making this video for you guys. Now, this is just in my experience. Like I said, I don't know if every RSS does this or not, but that's how they do it apparently in Atlanta and the surrounding area in Georgia. Okay, so I showed up at 6 a.m. Actually, a little bit beforehand, of course, because I'm always a little bit earlier at my office here in Cartersville, Georgia. A bunch of other people showed up. I think we had about like 8 people come, and we spoke to our staff sergeant. He pretty much gave us the rundown. Hey, you're gonna go down there. By the way, they tell you what to wear beforehand, so we had to wear black shorts and a police shirt. Now, for those of you that know, it's January, so it's cold. He did tell us that we could wear pants and a hoodie or something like that, but we'll have to take it off whenever we get down there and stuff. So anyway, we all showed up, and he's going over some things. He's pretty much saying, hey, is there anything that you guys need to tell me? If you want to talk to me, now is the time. Let's go back in my office, talk, blah, 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 whatever, about anything that they don't already know about. And of course, nobody said anything. They give you a piece of paper that they print out pretty much stating everything that you told MEPS was true. So, like, if you have any tattoos, did you graduate, with a diploma? Because now, I don't think you used to be able to join the Marine Corps without a high school diploma, but now you can with GED, but you have to have like 15 college credits. I think, talk to your recruiter about that, but I think that they actually changed that to where, they can get you in with a GED and some college credits. I don't remember if it's 15, 12, 11, something like that. Anyway, so now it's an option. Just FYI, go talk to your recruiter or talk to a recruiter if you have a GED. Couldn't join before and now you want to. So there's that update. But anyway, there's a piece of paper and your staff sergeant or your sergeant, whoever runs or is running the show that day, will go over with you. And don't do anything until they tell you to. Just don't do anything because you're going to have to fill it out in pen, and they're going to get mad at you if they have to print out multiple copies. So just wait. They'll tell you, write your name, write the date, sign it, whatever, initial here, initial there. And it's just simple yes or no questions. Questions you've already answered before. Like I said, like, do you have any tattoos? If you answer yes, and it may give you an option to explain, what tattoos, or do you have any new tattoos? If you haven't gotten any new ones, then no. Blah, blah, blah. Are you married? Have you graduated? All this stuff that you've already answered and that you've already told MEPS. It's pretty much just making sure that nothing has changed, okay? And then at the end, they'll tell you to sign it, and it'll go with you. Your staff sergeant or my staff sergeant ended up collecting them at the end, and they went with us. So we did that. Afterwards, we ended up driving an hour and a half down to Atlanta, which is the headquarters. Got down there. He told us to wait in the van. He left the van running for us, so that was really nice because it was cold outside. And he said, hey, once you see people going all the way over there on the side, that's where we're going to begin. You see people going, like heading over there, like a bunch of people, go over there and get information. Before you go, make sure you take off your other stuff. Make sure you're just in your shorts that I told you and your shirt. Shirt has to be tucked in, by the way. And so we're sitting there. By the way, don't bring anything with you except for your ID, and just in case you need it. You can bring your phone, but you're going to leave it in the van or leave it where in the designated area that they tell you to. And then bring like maybe a debit card or maybe some cash. And once again, also you're going to leave it in the van. You're not going to actually carry anything on your person whenever you go into formation and begin this, okay? So there's a reason I'm telling you to bring some cash. Some people may not tell you to do so, but I am, and I'll explain why once I go further in. So people are going over. We take off our extra layers, make sure our shirts are tucked in. Make sure your shirt is tucked in. That's very important. They will yell at you for it. I promise you, they will. We get over there. We get in formation, which, for those of you that don't know what formation is, it's pretty much like making a box. So let's say you have 12 people and they want 4 rows. You're going to have 4 rows and 3 columns of people. I mean, that's really it. It's just you're in a box. You stand one behind each other, and if there's somebody beside you, people are going to be beside you, and you're just making a box with people. You should do a formation at your pull function. Now, with that being said, we're jogging in place because we're trying to stay warm. They got us jogging in place. Different staff sergeants and sergeants start coming out. They're from all different RSSs. So we had like Duluth, we had Douglasville, we had Cartersville, we had Kennesaw, we had like so many different, there was a bunch of them there that were doing this. So we had a big, like a sizable group. And so they would, when I say they, I'm talking about the recruiters, they would take turns screaming at us. And it's like the, boot camp kind of screaming. So they will yell out, good morning, good morning, sir, or good morning, ma'am. We had all males, and so we would always say, good morning, sir. Ask you a couple questions. How are y'all feeling this morning? Good, sir. Scream at the loudest, like the top of your lungs, scream. They want the volume. And if you don't give them the volume, they're going to make you give them the volume. They're going to make you run. They're going to make you stand up, sit down. They're going to make you just do stupid random stuff until you get that volume because you're tired of doing whatever it is that they're telling you to do. So get the volume, scream at them. They want it. They really do. Another tip is, and your recruiter should tell you this, is if you walk by any Marine, say the proper greeting of the day, which is either good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and then sir or ma'am. If it's multiple, it's good morning, gentlemen, or if there is a lady amongst them, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, or lady and gentlemen. So always do that when going by them. Now, you don't necessarily always have to scream. Like if you're outside and something's going on, go ahead and kind of say it louder. If you're in the office, just say it normal, like I'm talking to you right now. Obviously, you don't need to be yelling inside the office and that kind of thing unless they're asking you to, or if it's a group of you. But outside, definitely go ahead. So, yeah, don't run by them without going, good morning, gentlemen, or good morning, sir. Anyway, so you're standing out there information, and they're asking you a whole bunch of questions. Y'all are answering in unison, most likely, because you're answering at the same time and with volume at the top of your lungs. They will then start to just go over things with you. Now, when I say that, I mean like the first thing that they went over with us, and they were really good about it. They're gonna treat you literally like they do in boot camp. They're yelling at you this whole time, by the way. They're gonna yell at you, and they're gonna go, what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna yell E1, and what I want from you is I want you to yell, sir, E1 of the Marine Corps is private. He wears no insignia, sir. So they're going to tell you what to say, just FYI. And if they don't, there's some people that are going to be around that say it. And if they hear you screw it up the first time, they're going to tell you what they expect. And then once I will say this, once they tell you the first time, they're going to want the volume and they're going to expect it to be right. So like if you screw up like the first time and they didn't tell you exactly what to say, they will, come back and go, this is what you say, and get you to do it correctly at that point. So after he did tell us what to do, he went, E1. And so we went, sir, E1 of the Marine Corps is private. He wears no insignia, sir. And he's like, all right, E2. Sir, E2 of the Marine Corps is private first class. He wears one stripe up, sir. And we just went through our rank structure. Now the point of them doing that is to, one, get you ready for boot camp with them yelling at you and you yelling back. Meanwhile, we're still all jogging in place, by the way. Keep that in mind. Just to stay warm, because we're out there in shorts and short sleeves. None of us have on long sleeves. They do. We don't. And it's like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of winter, in the middle of January. No, you're not allowed to wear anything but that or what they tell you to. They will yell at you if you show up without that kind of stuff, or what have you. But we went through our rank structure, and so they want to get you accustomed to that. They want to get you accustomed to the way of saying things. So you can't just go, E1 of the Marine Corps is private. He wears nothing. That's not what they want you to do. They want you to say, sir, E1 of the Marine Corps is. There's like a proper way to answer, when they say things like that. And so they would go over that. They're just getting you ready. And 3, repetition. They want you to know your ranks, because the more you know before you go to boot camp, as far as like rank structure and general orders, it's going to be easier on you because you have less to learn, if that makes sense. If you already know this stuff off the top of your head, you can then worry about the stuff that you actually have to learn at boot camp. And then 4, they just did it to pass the time because they weren't ready. They weren't exactly ready. They were getting paperwork ready from all the different offices and people and everything, and so they weren't necessarily ready for us at that time because obviously all the recruiters had to get there. They had to give them their paperwork. They had to go over it, blah, 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 blah. So we were just out there jogging in place. When we would screw something up, he'd be like, get over there and touch my bush right now. So we would run, and he'd count us down. He'd go 30, 29, 28, and we'd have to run as a formation, not as a formation, but we all would have to run over there. And like I said, it's a lot of people. We did not make it back by the time he got to 1. We wouldn't. And so because we didn't, he'd go, get over there and touch my bush right now. We'd run back. And of course, whenever he says that, you have to go, aye, sir, run, come back, and by the time he gets to 1, you have to be back in formation. And when he says 1, you were supposed to yell, done, sir. Like you were supposed to stop wherever you were at and yell, done, sir. And so I think that they were also just doing that in order to pass some time by, and then also to kind of imitate what might happen at boot camp, and also to keep us warm. Because, I mean, it was pretty cold out there. If you live in Georgia, now if you live in New York and you come down here, you're like, this ain't cold. Like, of course, but if you live in Georgia and stuff, it was pretty cold that morning. Or if you came from another state that stays pretty warm, it was pretty cold that morning. So eventually, after they're done yelling at the rank structures, they'll have you sit down, so that way you kind of get off your feet a little bit. They'll have you sit down, and once again, they will tell you what to do. They'll be like, so I'm going to tell you to sit down. When I tell you seats, like that's what they say, you're going to say, seats, aye, sir, and whatever they want you to say, and you're going to sit down. And he's like, whenever you do sit down, I'm going to say another command, whatever that was, like, done. Let's just say it was done. I'm not saying that's what it was. I can't remember actually. But let's say he said done, and then once he says done, he would then tell us to say, we'd have to sit Indian style, by the way, so get used to sitting that way. He would tell us left hand, left knee, right hand, right knee, back straight, mouth shut. And so he's like, does everybody understand? Does everybody copy? And we're like, yes, sir. And he went over it a couple of times, and he's like, all right, seats. And we said, seats, I sir. So we sat down in Indian style, and he was like, done. And so we then yelled, left hand, left knee, right hand, right knee, back straight, mouth shut. Sir, excuse me, sir was at the end. And we were not in unison, so he's like, y'all didn't say it together. Get up. So we got up. We said, hi, sir. Got up. He said, seats. Sat back down. Seats, hi, sir. And we said Indian style, and he said, done. Like, once everybody was down and sitting there, he said, done. And we had to say, left hand, left knee, right hand, right knee, back straight, mouth shut. And, we still didn't say it in unison. Some of us were saying a little bit faster. Some of us was saying it a little slower, that kind of thing. And so he was like, y'all still didn't get it right. Stand back up. And we did that for a few good times until we finally got in unison. Mind you, we still haven't done our IST yet. That's what we came here for. It's probably around like 10 o'clock by this point. We haven't eaten. We haven't drank anything. So if you ate beforehand, you're going on like 4 hours of something of not eating and not drinking anything. Oh, and by the way, not going to the bathroom either. So go to the bathroom before you leave your RSS. It does say that you consent to a drug test. Ours personally didn't drug test us. I actually held my pee because I thought we were gonna have to do this drug test, which we didn't. So it kind of sucked for me because I held it and I didn't know that I wasn't gonna have to. I thought that they were gonna pee test us whenever we got there. So just FYI, go pee before you leave if you have to go down there, so that way you're not jogging in place, sitting down and standing up while having to go pee at once and still not even taking your IST. So it's about 10 o'clock by this point. I didn't have my watch on because, we weren't allowed to wear it. Don't wear any jewelry, by the way. If you have earrings, no rings, necklaces, bracelets, anything like that, I was able to wear my wedding band, but it's silicone. It's not, an actual wedding band. And all the wedding bands that I saw them wearing or people wearing, they were the silicone ones. So just friendly advice, go ahead, either don't wear it or wear a silicone, and don't wear any other jewelry. They will yell at you to take it off. So after that, eventually everybody came out. Sergeant Major came out. He was yelling at us and some stuff, and he pretty much told us split us into like 3 groups. So January shippers, was in one formation, February was in one formation, and then March was in one formation. And so what they did is they took January 1st over there to the pull-up bars. They said, get in front of the pull-up bars, and then they started going and doing their pull-ups and everything, and there was a Marine at each pull-up bar station, so that way he could count how many that you did, and if you did 5, you moved on to over here, and then if you didn't, you moved on to over here. They separated you. So in the meantime, if you were in the February or the March, you were still running in place in formation, and they decided to have a competition. So February had to go up against March as far as how loud we could get yelling our rank structure in the, I don't really know what to call it, in the format that they tell you to yell it at. And so our person that was standing there, I don't know exactly what you want to call him, because he was a recruiter from another station. And they varied on whether they were staff sergeants, or gunnery sergeants. Sometimes even the sergeant major decided to step up. So like they kind of alternated, but the one that was standing in front of us will yell, all right, we're in competition, so I want as much volume. I don't want to hear them. I don't want to hear them at all. I want you to be louder, blah, blah, getting you pumped up. And they would be like, E1. And you would say, sir, E1 of the Marine Corps is private. He wears no insignia, sir. All right. And then March group, would go, all right, we got to be louder than them, whatever. And so they were just passing time by doing that. Once January shippers got done doing the pull-ups, they went over and actually started to do the crunches. And so you would partner up, do the crunches. Your partner would count your crunches. But trust me, they had enough people watching you to where if you did not count them correctly, or if they were not doing them correctly, they would tell you not to count them. Yeah. So anyway, this kept going on until, since I was in March, I actually finally got called. So got up to the pull-up bar, and you have to stand in attention. The Marine is going to be looking at you. You are supposed to stare past them at attention, and you're supposed to say, "Good morning, sir. Pulley Ingram requests permission to mount the bar, sir." And you once again, yell at them. If not, they will make you redo it, and they will make you stand there until you give them the volume that they want. They will tell you mount it. So once you mount the pull-up bar, whether it's, chin up or pull up like this, overhand, once you mount it, you have to come at a dead hang. What I mean by that is your arms have to be straight. So it's not allowed to be a bend. It has to be straight, both arms, right? So like this. You're going to be at a dead hang. And then at that point, they will then say exercise. And that's when you're going to pull yourself up, chin over the bar, go back down, lock back out. Okay, do not do this. Do not do this. Lock back out. Because if you do not lock out, they will not count it. I'm telling you now, they will not count it. So if you're doing them like this, you need to straight out, come back up, 1, straight out, 2, and they will do that, 2. So even though in your mind you just did 4, because those last 2 were not fully locked out, they're going to continue to count just those 2 perfect ones that you did. Okay, so make sure you're training, and make sure you're not swinging or anything like that. If you do that, they're going to yell at you, and they're going to tell you that those don't count either. Just FYI. Alright, so once you're done, you can't do any more, you're struggling. Alright, you can't get up there. You're going to not let go, but you're going to go back down, and you're going to say, "Sir, Pulley Ingram requests permission to dismount the bar, sir." And they're going to say, "Dismount," and then that's when you let go. So you don't just hop down, by the way. And they'll tell you if you did, your 5 to go over here. If you didn't do, go over here. And so whichever one you're going to be waiting in. And they're going to take you over. They're going to actually come up to you and go, "Okay, what's your name?" You're going to say, "Pulley Ingram of Cartersville, sir." And they're going to go, "How many did you do?" 0 or 5 or 2 or whatever it may be. And they're going to write it down. And they're going to go on to the next person. After you do that, you're going to go and do your crunches. You're going to partner up. They're going to tell you which side is going to exercise first. With that being said, make sure you keep your hands on your biceps whenever you do your crunches. So it's going to look like this. You're going to hold, and you're going to hold. So make sure you stay like this whenever you're doing your crunches. Don't do this. Don't do this. It's this. They will yell at you to do. Have it on your biceps. Go ahead and just grab them in the start position, and don't let go. Just grab them and hold on, squeeze. So anyway, and start knocking out your crunches. You have to do 55, FYI. They will let you continue to go past 55. That's perfectly fine, because they want to know how many you can actually do. Some people did, 89 or 90 or some crap like that. They give you 2 minutes. So just do as many as you can. And then they're going to say, how many of you did 55 or more? Go over here in this group. How many of you did 55 or did less than 55? Go over here. And they're going to come up to you and they're going to go, "What's your name?" And so you say, "Pulley Ingram from Cartersville, sir." And they're going to go, "How many did you do?" 59, sir. And, at that point, then they'll tell you where to go next. After that, we ended up doing our run, and so it just happened to be outside, 4 laps around the building. You start at a starting point. They tell you to stretch. They give you a few minutes to stretch out, do whatever you need to, warm up a little bit, and then they'll tell you, "All right, so I'm gonna get ready." "Okay, go." And then you go. and it's like I said, at your own pace. You're running 4 times around the building. They are stationed along the building, like all the recruiters and stuff. And if you stop or for anything like that, they're gonna yell at you. Why are you walking? Get up, pass them. You know, put your eyes on that one right there. Pass them, pass them. You know, they're just motivation. You know, keep you going. For those of you that don't know, I'm 173 pounds. I was running like, whenever I started going to the Marines, I was running like a 13:40, 13:30 mile and a half. I've gotten it down to, I actually ended up running a 12:59. And that was really awesome. I couldn't feel shit. It hurt so bad. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted to stop so bad, but I could not stop in front of them. Like, with them all being stationed around and standing there, and especially my staff sergeant was at one station, I couldn't stop. I just couldn't. I would have personally felt bad if I would have stopped, but I could not feel my hands. I'm telling you, like my arms, like if I shook them like this, my arms were hurting like really bad. They got cryptic. I could hardly move them. But I continued, and I actually ran the fastest mile and a half that I have, and I got a 12:59. Which was actually really good for somebody at my age. By the way, I'm 28, and also at my weight. So that's really good. For those of you that don't know, the passing for a female is 15 minutes, and the passing for a male is 13:30. So I even passed the male time, which is actually pretty awesome. So after you do that, they give you an option to go get a cup of water. I actually, since I already had to pee, I still hadn't peed. It's probably like 12 o'clock by now or something like that. 11:30, somewhere around there. I still hadn't peed, and I didn't want to get the water, so we had to do what they call a wagon wheel. And so all the people that just got done running, we started just to walk in a circle. Just walk in a circle, so that way we like didn't stop moving, our legs didn't cramp up, things like that. But yeah, so that's pretty much, you just run your IST. They had somebody, once again, come up to you. What's your name? Polly Ingram from Gardenville, sir. What'd you run? 12:59. And by the way, don't lie about it, because they will know. The people who were watching you at the end will then look over your stuff later, and they will know. Now, I personally did not get a pull-up. I did 0, so if you happen to do 0 pull-ups, this is what's going to happen afterwards. They ended up taking us all inside, once again in cycles, and you're going to go through what they call the moment of truth. And so there's going to be, actually we had a gunnery sergeant up there. Gunny was up there, and he was talking about how it's okay if we tell him something that we haven't already told him, and all this stuff, and just to let him know that we can get it fixed now, and all this, blah, blah, blah. They're not yelling at you, they're literally talking like I am to you. And they're like, hey, just let us know, we can help you out, this is when we can fix it. And they'll tell you to put your head down. It's a little bit more talking than that, but they'll tell you to put your head down, and they'll say, does anybody have anything that they need to tell us? And if you do, you're supposed to like stand up or whatever, and they'll tell you where to go. If you don't, you just keep your head down. I did forget to mention that during this time, they will ask you questions that you obviously need to answer, okay? Now, this is stuff that they already know about. For example, he goes, does anybody have any tattoos? I have a tattoo. I actually have multiple ones, but I obviously had to raise my hand, because the question wasn't, have you gotten any new tattoos? The question was, do you have any tattoos? And if I want to raise my hand, and obviously he can see that, that's going to be a problem, okay? So I had to raise my hand, and he said, do we already know about your tattoo? I said, yes, sir. He said, do we already have pictures of your tattoo? I said, yes, sir. And then he said, can you cover up your tattoo with your hand? I said, yes, sir, because that's actually the requirement in order for me to have my tattoo. So I have to do this, and I have to be able to cover up my hand, or cover up my tattoo, and you can't see it. For these tattoos, just FYI, they have to be like 1 inch above the elbow, which this one definitely is. My elbow's down here, you can see. And then this one definitely is, it's way above. And then this one actually has to be 1 inch below my elbow, and it's this crease right here, so luckily, like, it's just barely. but it is. So anyway, he'll ask, you know, how many of you graduated high school? And so, you know, obviously I graduated high school, I have a high school diploma. I raised my hand. Pretty much everybody raised their hand, except for like a couple of people which actually had the GED option. And when they didn't raise their hands, he would call on them and he'd say, do you have a GED? They said, yes, sir. He said, do you have the college credits? They said, yes, sir. So, I mean, it's just stuff that you obviously need to raise your hand for. Now, what I will say is do not tell them something new, okay? If you have anything new to tell them, you go to your recruiter. Like, that's who you need to tell first. Don't know if you know it, but in the military, there is a chain of command. And if you go out of that chain of command, they get very pissy with you, okay? And that's like the last person, your recruiter is like the last person that you want to piss off. At this moment, anyway. And so, tell your recruiter first. Now, if for some reason your recruiter isn't really helping you out, can't answer your situation, go to the next person up in your recruiting station. So for me, my recruiter is my sergeant, right? My next person would be his boss, which is my staff sergeant. He's actually the one that drove us down there. And so he would be the next one that I would talk to. But always talk to your recruiter first about anything new. If you've smoked weed in the last week, whatever it may be, it doesn't matter. Talk to them first. Do not say something at the moment of truth, please. I'm telling you now, don't raise your hand about it. Tell your recruiter, okay? So, anyway, after that, you have to fill out a piece of paper. Do not go ahead at all, like, don't fill out anything. They will tell you what to do. So the first thing is they'll tell you to write your name. You write your name. That's it. Don't do anything more. Write your name. After that, they will tell you to, they will read out the first thing and then tell you to initial it. You initial it. That's it. It was actually very simple. The guy was like, read this, initial it. They read it out loud, by the way. Of course, he said, if anybody has any questions about it, ask me before you initial it. But if you don't, go ahead. And after you're done initialing this one thing, look up at me to know, or to let me know that I know that you're done and we can move on. Simple as that. All you had to do was 2 initials or 3 initials, whatever, and then look up at him to let you know that you were done, and so he can know when everybody was done so we can move on to the next one. Can I tell you, it took us at least halfway down the paper to get everybody, when they were done initialing, to look up at him, to follow directions, simple directions. I don't understand. I really don't. Like, it was simple, initial. That's it. You don't go ahead. You just initialed. That was it. 2, 3 initials max, and you looked up at him. That was it. That's all I was looking for. We finally got it, by the way. As a group, we finally got it towards the end of it. Then he told us to sign the piece of paper, date it, and then we had to turn it in. Blah, blah, blah. That was it. We were done. And then I was told that this was the first time, I don't know if anybody else does this, but then we were given an MRE. So it's about 12 o'clock, something like that now. And yeah, so they finally gave us an MRE. And unfortunately, I didn't get to eat it at that time. Everybody else got to line up. They were sitting Indian style in the hallway. They were just like side by side in the hallway. I had to go then perform my push-ups. So this is when people that don't do pull-ups, by the way, you're going to go perform your push-ups. When I say people, I mean females. I don't think males can opt out and do push-ups. I don't think they allowed them to do that. I did not see any males doing push-ups. I think that they want them doing pull-ups. And so the females, they went in, were able to do the push-ups. Now, with that being said, they want you to get 21 push-ups while you're down there. Don't make sure that they are good push-ups. Now, what I mean by that is your back is straight, right? So you're going to be in the push-up position. You're going to be kind of like this because obviously your arms are longer than your 2 little bitty feet down here, right? And when I tell you that you don't need to hoopty it. I mean, those girls that look like they're doing the worm while they're doing push-ups, like they, woo, don't do that. Don't do that. We had a girl in particular that came up, and they said, hey, because she was actually very small. She was very small. She looked like she weighed like maybe 100 pounds. Like, she was short. She was very tiny. So they said, hey, how many push-ups can you do? She said 50. And then she got down there and she started doing them. And because she didn't say straight, she started doing that worm thing that I was just telling you about. Her back wasn't straight, and it just, she went to go do one and they were like 0, 0. And she was knocking them out and they're like 0, 0. And he's like, look, stop. Stop, 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 stop. By the way, you have 2 minutes to do the 21 push-ups. And he was like, I want you guys to get down there. Your back is straight. Your butt's not sagging. Your arms need to go to a 90-degree angle. And this is, by the way, the Sergeant Major. He's in there watching us. And he was like, I want you to do 15 good push-ups, exactly like how I said. You can take a break after that, whatever you need to do. And then I want you to do the other 6 to get to 21. He was like, I don't care how many you do after that at the moment. I just want you to do those perfect. And so I ended up getting down there and I did them exactly like perfect. I did 15. He said, that is 15 perfect push-ups. Good job, Ingram. He knew my name. I didn't tell him my name, by the way. He knew it. Okay, so I did 15, and you can get into a rest position where it's kind of like downward facing dog. You can't move your hands, you can't move your feet, and you cannot sag your knees to where they touch the ground. Otherwise, that's it, you're done. So it's kind of like you look like this. It's where you take some of the pressure off of your shoulders and your arms, and you kind of lean back a little bit and, just like I said, take a little bit pressure off. So practice that. And then I went back down and I did another 6 and I got to 21. He's like, perfect. That is 21 perfect push-ups. I can send you to Paris Island doing that. And so I went back because I still had 1 minute left. I went back into the rest position, and unfortunately, I only got 2 more push-ups before I ended up, going. My knee hit the ground, which is why I mentioned don't let your knees hit the ground. So I ended up doing 23 perfect push-ups, how he wanted them, and he was like, "That's exactly what I want." And so, yeah, so I got 23. I ended up passing my IST with that because I only needed 21. In reality, you only need 15 whenever you go to Paris Island. So for those of you that don't know the actual requirements, your run time is 1.5 miles in 15 minutes or less. You have to do 44 crunches in 2 minutes. And then you have to do 15 push-ups in 2 minutes. Perfect push-ups, by the way. Now, the reason they ask more from you whenever you go down to headquarters is because by the time you get to Paris Island, you're going to be tired, you're going to be hungry, you may not perform as well, which is why they get you to do these extra ones, to know that if you're not at your peak, you can still do the minimum requirement there at Paris Island. So that's why, if that makes sense. And like those IST standards were for females, by the way. It's different for the males. For males, it's a 1.5 mile in 13:30. It is 3 pull-ups, I believe. I think it's 3. They want you doing 5. And then it is the same, I think 44 crunches in 2 minutes. Once again, they want you doing 55 or more. So yeah, I ended up passing it. At that point, I was free to go sit and eat my MRE for the 6 minutes that I had. And then some people came around with a trash bag and I had to throw the rest of my MRE away. I couldn't keep it. But I did have some turkey jerky that was actually pretty good. And I had some pears that I ate out of there, and it definitely made me feel a little bit better. Mind you, I still haven't went and peed. So after you eat your MREs, or your MRE or whatever, they tell you to go back out to the van. And so I ended up going back out to the van with my group, waited there for a little bit, and finally I was like, I gotta go. I can't wait any longer, because I didn't know when they were gonna allow us to make a head call, and I did not want to be that one to go, hey, I gotta pee, gotta make a head call. I didn't want to be it, but unfortunately at this time I had to be. And so 2 other guys in the van had to go as well. And so the door was locked to the office, so we had to go up and I had to knock on the door. And when I knocked on the door, the commanding officer stepped out and started cussing, like yelling, cussing at us. You have no idea how many times I probably opened this door 20 effing times and blah, blah, blah. He was like, let me guess, y'all have to make a head call, right? And we were like, yes, sir. And he was like, that's fine. Y'all go make your head call. When you come back, and he pointed specifically at me. He's like, when you come back from your head call, you're going to stand at this door and you're going to open this door for anybody that comes up. I said, yes, sir. And he's like, go make your head call. Yes, sir. So we went and made our head call. I came back and I stood at that door and I answered that door for everybody that came in. And mind you, every single time a Marine came through that door, I said, by this point it was good afternoon. And they'll tell you, since we didn't have watches, they'll tell you the proper greeting of the day is now good afternoon. And so every single time a Marine came up to the door, I would open it up. I said, good afternoon, sir. And so, yeah, that was what I had to do. During this time and the times before with the other groups, they may have put them in formations and actually allowed them to ask questions. They did take the females to a separate place to talk to a female Marine, and we got to ask her certain questions. So questions were, what are the hair standards? And so if your hair is above, I think like the bottom of your collar in the back, so like if this would be technically the bottom of my collar, I don't know if you guys can see it, there's this top and then there's the seam right here in the back. If my hair was above that, I would not have to put it in a bun. So obviously I don't have to put this in a bun. They said if it is below that, you then have to put it in a sock bun. I personally don't know what that is. I've had short hair. I'm not going to do a bun. I'm not going to do it. And they actually said a lot of women do cut their hair for boot camp, so that way they do not have to put it in a bun. Now, also with that being said, they asked about how you're going to shower. Your shower is going to be, somebody is going to stand up there with like that pump, okay? Like a regular, like how you wash your hands, you get a pump, right? Okay, so they're going to stand up there and go, and you're going to get this like little squirt, and you're going to do like the wagon wheel. You're all going to walk in a circle, because they have the shower heads that are like locker rooms. You're going to wash up. You're not going to like be able to wash very well or anything like that. You're going to do a wagon wheel. So somebody asked about that. Somebody did ask about males. You might want to fast forward at this part if you are having to watch, but they asked about your period. Most women do not get their period during boot camp, so you don't have to really worry about that. If you do, you just ask for what you need. They asked about a couple of MOSs after that, like what some people did, blah blah. After that, we got to go back and join up back with the males. I'm guessing the males were asking questions at the same time. I don't know. Anyway, at this point, I'm still standing at the door, by the way, with the commanding officer. And once he calms down, he's actually really cool. He was actually really, really cool. He ended up just talking to me. I was talking to him casually like this, but at the same time, I would still follow it up with sir, or yes sir, no sir. This is what I did, sir. This is how old I am, sir. I still talked to him very respectfully, because he did ask how old I was, and I said, I'm 28, sir. He said, when did you go to MEPS? I went to MEPS in, I think it was at the end of July, sir. Just talked to him, and so that's it. And he asked me how my IST went, how many pull-ups I did, or how many push-ups, and all this stuff, my run time, and I told him, and he was like, you really want to get that pull-up. So for the ladies out here, I'm going to explain this the same way that he explained it to me. You really want to get the pull-up, and here's why. Statistically, and they have done this, that the females that actually are doing pull-ups when they go to boot camp last longer in the Marine Corps than any other female that come in doing push-ups. The reason being is the pull-up is worth more points on the PFT. And so doing push-ups, you're not going to get that many points. You're not going to get maximum points. And so when you get promoted, your PFT goes into that. And if somebody is doing pull-ups, like let's say that leadership-wise, both of you are the same. You have this female A, female B. Leadership-wise, everything else-wise, you are the same. Y'all are the exact same. Now what's going to set female B apart from female A is female A is doing pull-ups, female B is doing push-ups. Female A is going to get promoted because female A is doing better on her PFT because of the pull-up points, okay? So you're less likely to get promoted, and you're less likely to re-up, or be selected to re-up, kind of thing. So you want to go in doing pull-ups. I'm trying really hard. I was actually really, really close to getting my pull-up. When I say pull-up, I mean chin-up. I'm sorry. I do chin-ups. I don't do pull-ups. But they're going to still call my chin-up a pull-up, so that's why I'm calling it one. But I was really, really close. I was actually 3/4. I was staring the bar in the face, and I just couldn't do... I couldn't do it. It sucked, but I was almost there, and I'm still working on it. But anyway, so I'm standing there at the door, watching it, and my staff sergeant comes up to me, and he says, "Hey, so I can move you up to February 4th. Do you want that?" And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "I'm going to have to change your job, though." See, what had happened is I beat another person in my IST, and this other person didn't make their run time. Another female, because they can only substitute females for females, males for males. She did not, pass her run time, and I happened to pass the run time. And so I ended up taking her place, and she ended up taking my place in March 4th. Excuse me, I lied. She did not end up taking my place at March 4th because, if I'm not mistaken, you have to wait 6 months before you can go back and take another IST. Unless there's special circumstances. So anyway, I ended up taking her spot. I ended up moving to February 4th, which, for those of you that don't know, is like in 15 days. It's coming up extremely soon. I'm looking at my calendar. If you're wondering why I'm looking there, it's coming up extremely soon, which is why you see a mess in my background. It's because I'm having to sort out all my affairs. My housing and the stuff that I have in my house and everything like that. I'm having to sort it out because I'm not going to have time when I get back from everything to go through this stuff. I have so much stuff. So I'm trying to go through it, trying to donate. That's what that pile's for. That's actually a donation pile and stuff like that. I've been going through all this stuff that don't fit me anymore and everything. So anyway, my staff sergeant came up and said, "Do you want to move up? Do you want this?" About that, guys. So once again, I just got another phone call, but I am not doing this video again. So anyway, I ended up taking this girl's spot. Now, with that being said, I want you guys to prepare as much for the IST as possible. What I would do is I would start working out or running your IST at least like once a week by yourself, if not with some buddies or with the group. But don't wait on them to do it. You start running your IST and make sure you're keeping a track and count of that, because if you go down there, once again, if you fail for some reason, you won't be able to do it until 6 months from then, and you're going to lose your ship date and everything. So we outdid some guys down there that they ended up not shipping, or not being able to ship because they didn't get passed, and they're not going to. And what happens is they'll find people that we're going to ship in February or for March, whichever one, and they will move them up. For example, I was in March, then they moved me up to February because this girl failed that was supposed to ship in February. So they will do that. So go down there. Please just do yourself a favor. Go down there being able to pass your IST. That's like the best advice that I can freaking give you. And also, do what you're told. But with that being said, he told me that I got moved up to February, obviously. And then for some odd reason, they wanted to put all the February shippers in formation. And so we all got into formation. And I think it's because what happened is they ended up moving some people that were not in February. And we were taking their place. And so we got in formation, standing there. Once again, still cold, by the way. And they took our names down so that way they could write us in, February 4th, or I think it was like February 18th or 19th or something like that. That would be shipping. And so we told them our names and everything, and next thing you know, we're standing out there for, after that, no reason, in formation for I can't tell you how long. And then finally we got dismissed to go to our vans again. Meanwhile, everybody else has still been in this cold van. Keep that in mind. Everybody else, besides just me, has been in this cold van. Sitting there this whole time. I've been standing inside with the commanding officer and things like that. So I actually got lucky a little bit, but I ended up having to go back out to the van, and it was probably around 2 o'clock by this point, and we ended up leaving the headquarters at 8 o'clock at night, and it still took us an hour and a half to get home. So this is why I said bring some money. Matter of fact, maybe even bring some chargers or a portable charger, because your phone's most likely going to die unless you turn it off and leave it in the van. I didn't turn mine off. I was an idiot. I just left it on in the van, and so I was on like 30% by the time I got back. And no, they didn't use my phone because, you know, it's fingerprinted and they couldn't get into it. And no, they did not know the code. So anyway, when I came back, my phone was on like 30%. But my staff sergeant finally came out and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry guys, you guys have been out in this van for so long. You know, we're like, we're hungry." And he's like, "All right, well, let's stop and get something to eat." And so he was nice enough to actually buy our dinner. Now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like all fancy and great and everything, which I wasn't asking for it to be. We just stopped at Burger King. He got us a $1 burger, and he got us all 10-piece nuggets, as well as the $1 burger. So I was really happy about that. I was really satisfied with that. He did not have to do that. That was just out of the kindness of his heart, because truthfully, he was there too just as long as we were. He just happened to be inside, and I guess he felt bad for us being left out in the cold van, you know, for that long. And so he ended up getting that. But I did see other recruiters stopping at places, and I don't know if every recruiter paid for their people or not. So that's why I'm saying bring some cash or a debit card or something, so that way if you do stop and your recruiter doesn't pay for it, you can then pay for it. It's better to have it than to not. And you know, but yeah, so that's pretty much basically what it was. Once we got back to our recruiting station, we were all dismissed and sent home. Everybody was tired, everybody's ready to go. But yeah, that was pretty much the time. The reason this video is long is because I wanted to give you guys examples on following directions, what they're going to do to get you to follow directions. It's really fun. It is extremely fun being out there, just not in the cold, but it is what it is. But with them actually being out there, you know, getting you guys to yell all the stuff in the ranks and everything like that is so fun. Talking to them is fun when you're asking the questions and everything. It was the waiting in the van that was not fun and that sucked. But I wanted to give you guys my personal experience on how this went down. Like I said, I don't know if anybody else has to go through this that's not in Georgia. But that's just what happened with me, and I wanted to get this out here to let you know what it's going to be like in order to go down and take your IST at headquarters if you have to. So there is that. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to try to make any videos that I can with my following dates that are coming up as far as things that I have to do. I know I have to go back down to MEPS. I know that I have to go and do some more crunches and push-ups and things like that, just to prove that I'm still good or whatnot. I don't know exactly, but once I do those things, I will let you guys know what's up and what's going on. So, that being said, I'm going to get back to working on my house. I really don't want to. I'm tired. But yeah, I'm going to get back to working on my house, and hopefully I can get all this sorted before I leave. And of course, I'm going to make a boot camp video for you guys once I do get out of that. And I'll probably make a goodbye video or something like that. But if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. You know, I'm just trying to be as informational as I can from my experience. I can't speak for everybody. Alright, so that is it. I'm going to get started back on my house. I hope you guys have an amazing day. I'm here for you. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. I will try to help you out as best as I possibly can. I do love you guys, and I want you guys to succeed. Anybody out there to succeed, especially in life. And I hope that you'll join the Marine Corps. just because I think very highly of them. Of course, there's a reason I'm joining, but anyway, that's all. I'm gonna get to working on my house. Peace out. If I can figure out how to end this.